Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Nazir page 39, in which we find a very fascinating question that's posed and a very interesting way in which the question is resolved. The question is, when a person has their hair that they allow it to continue to grow, the question is, when there is growth of a hair, is the additional hair that's growing, is it growing from the tip? And the hair that is at the scalp doesn't change, it doesn't move. The only thing that happens when hair grows, what happens is the tip, it just grows from here, from the edge of your hair. Or is your hair actually growing from the scalp? And therefore, if, let's say, as your hair grows, so then that which is on your scalp is going to be more in the middle, if you will. And there's going to be, the newest hair is going to be on that which is closest to your scalp. It's an interesting question that the Talmud wonders, in which, of course, with modern day science, we should probably be able to know the answer is. But the Talmud wonders, what's the answer? What is the answer? And it's important, actually, it's not just some academic discussion. It's important because we know that if a Nazir has his hair cut, then he has to count all 30 days again. However, it actually depends on how much his hair was cut, because the prohibition that you would actually have to start the whole 30-day process again is only when it's like a razor, that your hair is completely shaven off and there's nothing left. However, if, let's say, bandits, for whatever reason, cut your hair and left a little bit, so the question is, when you accept it upon yourself to be a Nazir, if that original hair is still there, because it grew further from the tip, and therefore the bandits only cut this part, remained that which is close to the scalp, and therefore maybe you are still totally good and you don't have to make up anything, because they didn't cut the hair that existed at the time when you were a Nazir. So the Talmud ends up resolving this and says that there are people that dye their hair. Can you imagine? Even back then, there were people who were older that they wanted to appear younger. So even though they had a head full of gray hair, they dyed their hair black. And let's say they decided to not go to the salon and have it redone so fast. So after a little bit of time, you will see black hair, but the roots of the hair will remain or will turn gray. And the question is, why is that? It's because their hair is growing. And the fact that their hair is growing and you can see gray on the hair closest to the scalp, it must be that the hair is growing from the scalp and not from the tip outward. So it's such a fascinating deduction that the sages use their wisdom to be able to understand things that go on in their lives, which seemingly have no real importance or relevance. Some person, some woman decides to have blonde hair, and you look at the roots of their hair, you could see the blackness inside their hair, the roots. So the truth is, you could look at that and not just say, oh, okay, that's what her hair looks like, but you can say, unbelievable. Now, based on her dyeing her hair, I understand what the practical law is when it comes to a Nazir, what to do in the situation that his hair was partially cut. So we could live our lives by seeing so many different things and just walking by them, or we could look at them and say, even the things which seem most mundane and no connection to holiness or spirituality, the truth is you could look at these things and figure out that which is actually so important for us to be able to know how to observe and keep and uphold the Torah. But we have to do one important thing. We have to keep our eyes open and to be able to look for those things.